she came out of her office and she was like, "Oh, hi, this is so awesome."
Sequoia Chris recounts a meeting she and her classmate Francisco Nodal had with Chula Vista Mayor Mary Salas.
She was just a down-to-earth woman that was here to talk to a few freshman kids about trying to solve a problem that is nationwide.
The problem, gender inequality in politics. Their chat was part of an assignment that challenged students throughout the Sweetwater Union High School District to research a problem, talk to stakeholders, and brainstorm solutions. Other students looked into voter turnout, high school dropout rates, and militarized law enforcement. This is what geography looks like in the South Bay now.
I thought I was signing up for the required class and we were just going to learn about the world and land and determining how big a landscape would be or simple stuff like that. So I wasn't really excited because I like ideas more like this.
Really, you can look at anything and approach it in a geographic way.
Kelly Leone is Chris's teacher at Bonita Vista High School. Her class is called Human Geography and looks at the interplay between places and social systems.
So just thinking about in a society like the United States, we think of ourselves as advanced, but when we look at an issue like gender equality in representing us in the political process, we're not as advanced as some other countries are.
The class also looks at industry, food systems, economies, but Leone says her goal is to get students thinking about geography through their own lens.
Every opportunity that we can come up with to help students understand that education is not just about reading a textbook, it should be at least something in service of something bigger. And that something bigger should be looking at the problems that we have in our community, looking at the problems we have in our world, and figuring out ways that we can impact them or solve them.
Leone isn't the only San Diego educator thinking this way. Many other schools in the county have implemented these kinds of service learning projects. But in 2016, the California Department of Education adopted a new history and social science framework that asks every campus to take this approach. Frameworks are official guidance for teachers on how to best help students meet the state's academic standards. San Diego State professor Thomas Herman directs the California Geographic Alliance and is helping with the rollout.
There's a big focus on authentic learning, on not studying the same questions that Napoleon and Churchill considered, but questions that ninth graders in Chula Vista might actually have. So asking those kinds of questions. But then also learning from that question forward. So inquiry-based instruction, so that you're really helping students to identify their own meaningful questions and then pursue knowledge that will help them to answer those questions.
The framework urges teachers to go even further by providing opportunities for students to take action. Leone and her colleagues in Sweetwater hosted a conference where students shared their ideas. Herman defended this approach over traditional textbook learning.
Students are accumulating knowledge that's relevant to the world today, not relevant to the developmental stages that the world has gone through. And I think there aren't many people who would spend much time arguing that the world is fundamentally the same now as it was in 1850, or that it was in 1650 or 1492. So having people continue to learn through those stages of the past, and then at the end of their education, they've just been brought up to present, it's not very helpful when we have pressing issues and challenges that we'd really like our young people to be working on as soon as possible.
There are similar threads in Common Core standards and the nation's relatively new science standards. The result is that civics is sprinkled throughout the curriculum and goes beyond the branches of government. Again, Leone.
Investigating our world, whether that be the global world or just our community in general, recognizing the perspectives of others, communicating ideas appropriately depending on the audience, and then finally actually doing something with that information and acting on it. That's what democracy is all about, right? And that's what we want our students to do when they go off into the world.
Chris said her ninth grade geography project on gender inequality has already given her some ideas about making clubs on campus more inclusive. But what about on a larger scale? Would she and her classmates call on change from elected officials like Mary Salas?
Yeah, I think we will, because finding out that she's so easy to contact and sit down with and easy to talk to, that gives me, and I believe Frankie too, hope that if we really wanted to change something around the world, we could move forward and contact the senators of California or the House of Representatives or the United States. Like, just reach out to people.
Megan Burks, KPBS News.
the world we live in now with so many